G'day everyone. Today I'm off on a fishing and yabbying adventure. Well, it's mostly a fishing adventure, but I'm going to put a couple of yabby nets in this dam and then head off fishing and then check the nets on the way back. Hey you! You're watching Robbie Fishing. Now, some of you may remember this dam. I caught the biggest yabbies that I caught last season in this dam. It was late in the season, it was in the autumn, and I said, I don't like the look of this dam because the water's too clear and I don't think there'll be many yabbies here. And then I went on to catch a heap of very large yabbies. They were the biggest ones I caught all year. Now, I've got two open top lift nets with me. They're both baited with Goodo's dry dog food. And I'm going to put them in here now, and then I'm going to head north up into the Riverina region of New South Wales and see if I can find some fish somewhere. The cords on these nets are so tangled. I desperately need new cords for these nets. Now, net number 2, I'm going to attempt to throw this with my left hand, just so that it's spinning the opposite way to normal in the hope that it might just help untangle the cord a bit. It was going well until I ran out of rope. I'll try that again. That's better. Now, both nets are in. I only brought the 2 nets with me. Now I'm going to head off and head up into the Riverina and see if I can find somewhere to fish. I think I might go and check out the Billabong Creek first and see how that's looking. And if that's no good, I might have to go a bit further north and fish the Colombo Creek, or maybe head over to Gerildry and fish the lake there or something, or Urana Lake. But I'll go and check out the Billabong Creek first and just see how it's looking. Well, after driving around for quite a while and exploring, I've made it here. This is the Billabong Creek, almost as far upstream as Culcan. I've never been here before. I'm just going to have to thin out some vegetation along the bank here a bit. I see on the news they're trying to ban machetes in the city because of all the dickheads assaulting each other. I tell you what, if they ban them, I'll still keep mine. I just won't show you it on my channel. No one's taken my machetes off me. If I was a fish, I would eat those worms. Both rods are baited with 2 Jan-Juck worms. This little short rod's got a paternoster rig. I'm just going to leave that in really close, right under the rod holder there. There's a lot of current. There's no point in me casting out there because all this current will just wash my sinker and my bait straight back against the bank anyway. And I'll just put this one downstream a little bit. I'm probably only in 3 feet of water or so. It's not the most ideal looking spot, but I'll give it half an hour or so and see how I go. Just had a nibble on the long rod. I was looking at my phone and then I looked up and I thought, it looks like it's moving, and while I was looking at it to see it, there it goes, it tapped just like that. Alright. This could be a challenge. He's got it. Oh, he's playing with it. He's there, he's tapping. Got him. Is it a catfish or a carp? Like a catfish. No, it's a carp. And a very dark one at that. Well, folks, I'm on the board with a very, very black looking carp. Have a look at the colours on that. The camera doesn't really do it any justice. It's almost black. That carp was such a strange colour. It was black, but it had like white underbelly and white fins. I think I might call that one the Collingwood supporter. The Collingwood supporter carp. Anyway, I'm going to run with the exact same worms in the exact same spot. I'm on the board. Right, now the Collingwood supporter carp has been dispatched and it's on the bank behind me, and I'll kick that back into the water when I leave. I'm getting a nibble now. And that will float downstream and feed any yabbies or crayfish if there's any here. I don't even know whether there's any crayfish in here or not. Something biting that now. I said I'd give this spot half an hour and it only took 15 minutes. Got him. This is bigger. Well, now it's 17 minutes. I only just put this back in on. It's the same pair of worms that I caught the first one on. This feels so heavy because sometimes they stick their top spike out and the line wraps around that spike, and that's what's happened here. This isn't a dark coloured fish like the last one. This is much more shiny silver. I feel so heavy. Yeah, they break off that front spike so they can spike things with it, but the line wraps around it and you find yourself reeling in the fish from the back like that. Like, it's a largish carp. It's probably 55 centimetres. Just got to keep my eye on this other rod here. A few of these things around that could end up pulled in the drink pretty quick. Right. This is going to be harder than I think. Come on, come on, come on. In the net. Swim forward now. Got him. Beauty. Sick looking fish, actually. I'll show you what I was talking about with that fin. That front fin there. You see the top? That's serrated. That's very, very sharp. And it's serrated like a serrated knife. And the line gets wrapped around it sometimes. It can cut the line, but it can also make it very hard to reel the fish in because you're pulling it in sideways. A fair bit of orange in his tail. Anyway, I'll euthanize him and get my line back in. Gee, I'm glad I've got this little pair of pliers with me. Sometimes they can be so hard to get the hooks out. Yep. Now, I don't think I'll try and milk me worms for one more fish, but what I'll do, I'll put my second hand worms back on and I'll just add one fresh one to them. The old one's for bulk and the fresh one's for scent and wiggliness. Right, that's two fish, both to the running sinker rig. But I don't think that it's the rig that's made that happen. I think the water, the creek's flowing really fast. So any fish making their way upstream are going to be swimming up right up against this bank and right up against that bank over there to get out of the current. It's easier to swim upstream when the current's not as strong. It just makes sense. So that bit of water that's not flowing as strong is only about a metre or so wide from the bank before you get into the fast water. So any fish swimming up through there are going to encounter this rod, the bait on this rod, before they encounter the bait on this rod. Now I said I'd give this spot half an hour and it's just gone half an hour, but I might extend it. I might give it a little bit longer, maybe another 15 or 20 minutes. I've broken through that psychological barrier. I know that I can catch fish here. And it's a very nice spot. I really like it here. I just wish I had a bit of deeper, slower, like a backwater. But anyway, this is cool. You're not going to believe this. I'm getting a bite. I hope it's a small fish because I've just put my landing net away. Got him. Oh no, I'll be able to lift him up. Beauty. Oh, he got off anyway. He got off anyway. Pretty sure it was a carp. It could have been a yellow belly, but I think it was a carp. I've got a tangled line here. What I do, I'm just about to go somewhere else. Now what I normally do is I pack everything up and then I pack my fishing rods up last. So I've just put my tackle box, I was actually sitting on an esky, my landing net, I've put it all in the car ready to go. I've come over here to grab my rods and film my next scene to say I'm going elsewhere. And I was getting a bite and there was a fish on it. Well folks, I've liked it here. I've been here about 45 minutes. Great little spot. I'll definitely be back. But it's time to move on and discover somewhere else. I love these days, just driving around, trying different spots here and there. Let's go and see if I can find somewhere else to wet a line. I've made it. And I'm not even puffed. Check this out. This is Morgan's Lookout. When I said I'm not even puffed, I was sort of crapping on a little bit. I've actually been up here for a few minutes catching my breath, and believe me, I was super puffed. I sat on this chair, then I caught my breath, then I walked down 4 or 5 steps and set up this scene. Look at this. This is Morgan's Lookout, named after one of Australia's more infamous bushrangers, Mad Dan Morgan. There's been a couple of movies made about Mad Dan Morgan. Well, this is the real spot where he was, and this is, I'll go through the fence here. This is one of his favourite hiding spots. He used to hang out here because of all the big granite rocks. There's lots of caves in amongst these granite rocks. There's information boards all around the place, which I won't stop and read now. But you can see the big granite boulders. There's so many caves. This is a great spot for kids to come and play. It's a wonderful place, Morgan's Lookout. I love it. And look over there at the colours. You can see there's a toilet block down in there for picnickers. And the yellow over there, that's the canola. Canola's a very popular crop out here in the New South Wales Riverina. Now way over the back there is Lake Hume. That's Mount Tabletop to the left, Lake Hume. And where I live in Wangaratta is more over that way. At a guess, probably 120 kilometres as the crow flies. But anyway, Morgan's Lookout, what a cool place. It's always easier walking down the hills. Are you in here, Mr. Morgan? Ugh. I wonder if that's where he actually hid. I wonder if this is where he slept. There's caves like this right around this rocky outcrop. Look at that. Maybe that's where he slept. Certainly would have been a nice dry spot. Look at that big long tunnel in there. That'd be a very protected natural barrier from the wind and stuff, wouldn't it? And there he is. Daniel Morgan is described as the most bloodthirsty of all the bushrangers. There's another information board. Morgan's Lookout. What a beautiful place. Well, I found somewhere else to fish. I'm still on the Billabong Creek, but I'm downstream near the small town of Walbundry. Now check this out. I've just carried all this down. 2 rods, a chair, my camera landing net, me tackle box and whatnot, the bait's in there. And then remembered that I forgot the spare batteries for my camera. So I'm going to go back up to the car and get them now before I start fishing. But I want to show you something. There's the creek down there. I'm going to be fishing on a bit of a high bank. But if you look up here, way up on top of this hill, look at all the debris from last year's floods. It goes way up here onto the high bank. The debris is way up here. The creek's way down there. Wow. The 2022 floods sure were a doozy in this area. I've got my spare batteries. Now let's get set up. Look at the size of that worm. That's a Jan Juck worm. I kid you not, it's got to be 20 centimetres long or more stretched out. That's just one worm. I'm only going to be putting one on that hook. That's huge. Oh, it's time to put the lines in. The moment of truth. How deep is it? Stumpy rod can just go in close. Yeah, it's probably 4 feet deep. That's plenty deep enough. Well, the long rod, I'll put that out a little bit further. Yeah, it's deep enough. I just got to hope that if I catch a fish, I've got enough room to net it, and I hope that I can reach down there properly with the net. Getting a bite on the small stumpy rod here. Still playing with it. Looks a bit like a crayfish bite. Got him. I don't know whether there's any crayfish in here though. It's a carp fish. Well, I'm going to go the lift. This line's strong enough. Just got to hope the hook doesn't pull out of its mouth because it's flapping around a lot. And we got him up. The little stumpy rod is on the board. I'm on the board at the new spot. Awesome. I put my line back in, a couple of fresh worms. I'm having a great day. I love this sort of thing. Just go for a drive, explore a few places, try a few new fishing spots. Listen to lots of tunes. Love it. I wonder how my yabby net's going. It's 2:30. They've been in 3 hours already. I think it was just a little bit before 11:30 that I put them in. So they've been in a bit over 3 hours. Oh, there's a nibble. I haven't been sort of speeding around from A to B. I've just been taking my time and exploring and... Oh, I missed him. Thought I'd get that. It was a very carpy looking bite. I've just been taking my time, exploring and then chilling out. I'm looking forward to checking the yabby nets. Oh, been running sinker rigs getting the bite here again. See if I can hook it this time. There he goes, he's pulling down and got him. A little bit bigger this one. Just a bit. Oh, loosen the drag a bit. So yeah, a bit larger. It's definitely a carp. I've had a visual. This will test the landing, and I'm just been a bit worried as to whether I'll be able to get right down there on the water with my landing net from here. It's not all that big. Still a bit too big to lift up with this line, I reckon. And I'll be able to get down there just. Come on, mate. Into the net. Got him. Ha! I can just reach. I'm from Wangaratta. I'm not from Longreach. It's almost a twin for the other one. The carp are actually very fat in here, aren't they? This one's going to be fat and flat, surely. Right, now I'm going to re-rig the existing worm, but I'm going to put a fresh one on with it. That carp just ended up like Batman and Robin did when they got run over by a steamroller. Did you hear about that? Oh, I'm going to bite on that other rod there. Did you hear what happened to Batman and Robin when they got run over by a steamroller? They become Flatman and Ribbon. He's on there. Yep. Whoa! Going for a swim, mate. Haven't even got my other line back in. The old Billabong Creek. Oh, now I'm wrapped around everything. I can see it. It's definitely a carp. It's just wrapped around branches, and I don't like me chance. I'm going to spot a bother here. What have you done to me? I can't get down there. What a nightmare. Can you get in that net, mate? Well, it's in the net. After all that, I caught the fish. Bit of a bum. Another one for the pile. This place is Carp Central. Here's another huge worm. Look at that big Johnny Long Prong. He's shriveled up a little bit, but he was huge a moment ago. Alright, I'll just go the one worm, and with a big long tail to wiggle at the end. Right at this very point in time, I don't even have a line in the water. They're both baited up, ready to go. I got that one baited up, ready to go, and then caught that fish. Been sitting here for about 15 minutes without a bite, and I've got a bite on both rods at exactly the same time. Got him. I've got this one. Presumably a carp. Show your face, mate. Yep, definitely a carp. Both rods went at exactly the same time then. It's been a good 15 minutes or so since I caught the last fish when I got it wrapped around all them branches. Got him. Got to keep a close eye on that other rod because there's something sniffing around the bait there. What have you done, mate? Bit of bum. Another dead mud mullen. It's time for the little stumpy rod to go back in. It's got a brand new rig. It was that tangled, I couldn't untangle it. It was easier just to snap the line and re-rig it. I'm having an absolute blast here. I'm really enjoying this spot. I'm having a great day. I found 2 new spots that I haven't fished before. Places that I can access the Billabong Creek and catch a few fish. I visited Mad Dan Morgan's lookout. And I'm really looking forward to checking my yabby nets on the way home. I don't know what's going to happen there. There could be none, there could be 50. I'm guessing that there'll be 1 yabby in one net and none in the other net. I can see them kookaburras, they're up there on that tree. I wonder if I can get a photo of them. Here we go, getting a few nibbles on the long rod now. Definitely something playing with it. I reckon it's still there. Yeah, it's just pulling down a bit now. I reckon he's on there. Yep, just sitting there with it in his mouth. What have we got? Is it the elusive yellow belly? Be great if it was. Or is it another carp, which I think it is. I'm pretty sure there are yellow belly in here. I know there's a few Murray cod in here. It's not like at home though, where anyone can just sort of walk down to the bank and catch them. No, it's another carpio. Yeah, it's not like back at home where anyone can just sort of rock up into town, drive to the river, throw a line in and catch a cod. I don't think they're that common up here, but there are a few here. I think there's a few yellows in here as well. That's number 5 carp from this spot. Getting a bite on the short rod. I've actually got the long rod out at the moment because I just went to check the bait and it was snagged and I snapped the hook off. Someone's definitely playing with that. Got him. That's the 6th. Oh, what's he wrapped around? Oh, it's wrapped around something. Oh, there's shockers for this. I think he's gone. No, he's still there. The line is pulled tight really quick. He's still there, but it's wrapped around something. I'm going to lose this one. I'm going to have no lines in the water. Well, hopefully the branch snaps before the line. I can feel the fish moving. I'm going to lose it. Oh, something broke. Something broke then. Bugger! Gone! Right now I've caught 5 carp here, almost 6, except that one wrapped right around the snags at the bottom and I just had no chance of getting it out. But anyway, I've caught 5, almost 6. Both of my lines are out of commission at the moment. I need to rig them both up. But instead I'm going to head off because I'm just busting to see whether there's any yabbies in my yabby nets on the way home. Now, I've got a pile of 5 dead carp beside me here. What I'm going to do, the last thing I'll do before I leave is I'll kick them back into the river. They're dead as a doornail, there's flies all over them, but if I put them in the river, they'll feed the yabbies and the crayfish and the shrimp and whatever's in the water, water rats even, or ricali. If I leave them on the bank, they'll feed foxes, wild cats, dog walkers that live in Mulbundry. Their dogs will roll around in it, and they'll stink the campsite up, so they're better off back in the water dead to feed the ecosystem. Anyway, I better pack up and then go and check these nets. Right, I'm back at the dam. It's time to check these nets. Can I end the day, can I end this awesome day on a high note? Now, my guess is I'm going to catch 1 yabby in one of the nets and that's it. The fact that it's still really cool, the water's still cold, there's a lot of fresh water in here. I just haven't got high expectations, but anyway, it's worth a try. The moment of truth. 1 yabby in 2 nets was my guess. I might not even get that many. I've got a sneaky suspicion that I won't be taking home a feed of yabbies today. Oh, there was something on the side of that then, I think. Something flipped off the side. Whether it got out as I was pulling it in, or whether it was on the outside, or whether it was a leaf or something, I don't know. Well folks, I've had an absolute blast here today. The yabbying was unsuccessful. I think my recent winter yabby jackpot was just that, a bit of a jackpot. I think it's a pretty big call to expect yabbies when it's still really cold like this. But I found a couple of really cool places I've been exploring, found a couple of places that I can return to go fishing, and I will, and I've had a lot of fun. Thank you all very much for watching.